The food we have is not always as innocent as it seems. There are many dangerous bacteria hidden in our food that threaten our health. In this video, we will discover the 5 most common dangerous bacteria found in our food and their characteristics. Salmonella is a dangerous bacterium that many people have heard of but know very little about. This bacterium, which can be found particularly in food, can cause serious health problems. It belongs to the gram-negative genus of the Enterobacteriaceae family. These bacteria, which are generally motile thanks to their flagella, are rod-shaped and are usually found in the intestines of animals and humans. Salmonella is especially known for its 2 main species, Salmonella enteritidis and Salmonella typhimurium. These species can infect humans through food and cause a disease called salmonellosis. It is characterized by an outer membrane containing lipopolysaccharide in its cell wall. This feature helps the bacteria resist the immune system. Salmonella is a facultative anaerobic organism, which means it can live in both oxygenated and oxygen-free environments. Its optimal growth temperatures are 35 to 37 degrees Celsius, so it can easily multiply in temperate environments like the human body. It can survive even in acidic environments. By protecting itself from stomach acid, it can reach the intestines and cause infection there. It can also survive at low temperatures, so it can be found even in food stored in the refrigerator. Salmonella is sensitive to heat, and thus can be killed by sufficient cooking. The transmission routes of this dangerous bacterium are quite varied. The most common source of transmission is contaminated food. Raw or undercooked meats, especially chicken, turkey, and other poultry, are among the foods where salmonella is frequently found. Eggs and egg products, unpasteurized milk and dairy products can also harbor this bacterium. Additionally, fresh vegetables and fruits that come into contact with contaminated water or manure carry a risk. Infection with salmonella can lead to serious health problems. The symptoms of the infection typically appear 6 to 72 hours after ingesting the bacteria and include abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, fever, and chills. While these symptoms usually pass within a few days, they can have more serious consequences in people with weakened immune systems, the elderly, and young children. In some cases, the infection can spread to the bloodstream and cause life-threatening complications. To prevent salmonella infection, several simple but effective measures can be taken. First, it is important to cook food thoroughly. Make sure meats, poultry, and eggs are well cooked to kill the bacteria. Following hygiene rules is also critical. Wash your hands frequently while working in the kitchen and clean your hands and kitchen surfaces after handling raw foods. To prevent cross-contamination, keep raw and cooked foods separate, and use separate cutting boards for raw meat and vegetables. Also, by storing food at appropriate temperatures, you can prevent bacterial growth. Listeria, another dangerous bacterium found in foods, can cause serious health issues. This bacterium is particularly harmful to individuals with weakened immune systems, the elderly, pregnant women, and newborns. Listeria monocytogenes is a gram-positive, rod-shaped bacterium. It is the most well-known and pathogenic species of the Listeria genus. The most notable feature of this bacterium is its ability to survive in cold environments. It can multiply even at low temperatures such as 4 degrees Celsius, making it a threat even to food stored in the refrigerator. Listeria is both aerobic and facultative anaerobic, meaning it can grow in both oxygenated and oxygen-free environments. It can also tolerate high salt concentrations and a wide pH range. Listeria's ability to be an intracellular pathogen is also noteworthy. After entering the host cell, the bacterium moves intracellularly using actin filaments and spreads to adjacent cells. This ability makes it difficult for the immune system to recognize and eliminate the bacterium. It is resistant to desiccation and high salt concentrations, increasing its chances of survival during food processing and storage. Moreover, Listeria can form biofilms, which adhere to surfaces and complicate cleaning and disinfection processes. These characteristics enable Listeria to survive in food processing facilities for extended periods, leading to product contamination. Listeria can reach the central nervous system and placenta, causing severe infections. The ways this significant bacterium can be found in foods are quite diverse. Contaminated water, soil, and animal feces can introduce this bacterium into the food supply chain. Processed and ready-to-eat foods, in particular, are at high risk for Listeria contamination. Commonly affected foods include ready-to-eat meals, especially packaged sandwiches, salads, and other prepared meals. Additionally, unpasteurized milk and dairy products, especially cheeses and soft cheeses, pose a risk for Listeria. Sliced meat products and sausages, as well as seafood, particularly smoked and packaged fish products, are other foods where Listeria can be found. Listeria infection can cause a serious disease called listeriosis. While listeriosis can manifest with mild symptoms in healthy individuals, it can lead to life-threatening complications in at-risk groups. Symptoms of listeriosis typically appear 1 to 4 weeks after ingesting the bacterium and can include fever, muscle aches, nausea, and diarrhea. In more severe cases, headache, neck stiffness, changes in consciousness, and central nervous system infections may occur. Escherichia coli is a gram-negative, rod-shaped bacterium belonging to the Enterobacteriaceae family. Most Escherichia coli strains live harmlessly in the intestines of humans and animals, aiding in the digestive process. However, some pathogenic strains, particularly those producing Shiga toxin, can cause serious health problems. These strains produce Shiga toxin, which damages intestinal cells and leads to severe illnesses. Escherichia coli is both an aerobic and facultative anaerobic organism and can grow over a wide temperature range, with an optimal growth temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. The sources of Escherichia coli contamination are quite varied. Common sources include contaminated water, raw or undercooked meats, especially ground beef, and dairy products. Vegetables and fruits grown in soil contaminated with manure can also be contaminated with Escherichia coli. The bacterium can be transmitted to agricultural products through direct contact with animal feces or contaminated water. Raw milk and unpasteurized dairy products can also carry Escherichia coli. Poor hygiene practices during food processing and cross-contamination are other pathways for the bacterium's spread. Escherichia coli infection can cause serious health problems. Symptoms of infection typically appear 3 to 4 days after ingesting the bacteria and include severe abdominal cramps, nausea, and vomiting. In some cases, especially in vulnerable groups such as children and the elderly, the infection can progress to a serious condition called hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can lead to kidney failure. This syndrome causes the breakdown of red blood cells and damages the kidneys, and if left untreated, it can be fatal. Various measures must be taken to prevent infections. Firstly, it is important to cook meats, especially ground meat, thoroughly, ensuring an internal temperature of 70 degrees Celsius guarantees the bacteria are killed. Keeping raw and cooked foods separate is a critical step to prevent cross-contamination. Hands, kitchen surfaces, and equipment should be washed regularly. Raw vegetables and fruits should be thoroughly washed and peeled if possible. Unpasteurized milk and dairy products should be avoided. Additionally, using safe water sources and consuming clean water plays an important role in reducing the risk of infection. Clostridium botulinum is a dangerous bacterium found in foods that causes a deadly disease called botulism. This bacterium poses serious health risks, especially in improperly stored or processed foods. It is a gram-positive, spore-forming, anaerobic bacterium. Its most notable and dangerous feature is its production of botulinum toxin. Botulinum toxin is the most potent biological toxin known and has a paralyzing effect on the nervous system. Microscopically, it typically measures 0.5 to 2.0 microns in width and 2.0 to 8.0 microns in length. This bacterium can be rod-shaped or simply cylindrical. Optimal growth temperatures usually range from 20 to 45 degrees Celsius, but some strains can grow at lower temperatures. Clostridium botulinum spores are extremely resilient to environmental conditions and are commonly found in soil, water, and marine environments. In suitable anaerobic and low-acid conditions, the spores turn into active bacteria and begin to produce toxins. This situation poses a significant risk, especially for home canned foods, vacuum-packed foods, and low-acid canned foods. The risk of Clostridium botulinum in foods stems from the ability of its spores to become active under favorable conditions and produce toxins. Home canned foods, especially low-acid foods like green beans, corn, and beets, are at high risk. Additionally, vacuum-packed foods and improperly pasteurized ready-to-eat foods are also dangerous. In such foods, the spores can grow in an oxygen-free environment and produce toxins. When a food containing toxins is consumed, botulism symptoms appear, including muscle weakness, vision problems, difficulty swallowing, and respiratory failure. Botulism can be fatal if not treated promptly and correctly. There are several measures to prevent Clostridium botulinum infections. Firstly, when canning at home, care must be taken to use proper methods. For canning low-acid foods, the pressure canning method should be used as it reaches temperatures high enough to kill the spores. Additionally, commercially prepared canned food should not be consumed if there is any suspicious odor or color change after opening. During the storage and handling of vacuum-packed foods, hygiene rules must be followed, and these foods should be stored at appropriate temperatures. Unpasteurized or improperly processed foods should be avoided. Food processing equipment and surfaces should be cleaned and sterilized regularly. Campylobacter is a genus of bacteria that are microscopic, spiral or curved in shape, and gram-negative. These bacteria range in size from 0.2 to 0.5 microns wide and 0.5 to 5 microns long. Campylobacter, typically having a curved shape, moves with a single polar flagellum. These bacteria are microaerophilic, meaning they thrive in environments with low oxygen levels and cannot grow in fully oxygenated environments. Their optimal growth temperatures range from 37 to 42 degrees Celsius, which allows them to multiply easily in temperate environments such as the human body. Most species of Campylobacter are catalase and oxidase positive, meaning they can produce these enzymes. Additionally, many of these bacteria can metabolize a variety of carbon sources and show positive reactions in various biochemical tests. These characteristics define the microbiological structure and environmental adaptation capabilities of Campylobacter, making them significant pathogens causing infections in humans. Campylobacter is one of the leading causes of foodborne infections, particularly associated with raw or undercooked poultry. The foodborne dangers of this bacterium arise from the consumption of meat from infected animals or food contaminated with animal feces. Raw chicken, especially those contaminated with Campylobacter in their intestines, poses a risk of Campylobacter infection. However, contaminated water, dairy products, and other animal products also carry the risk of Campylobacter transmission. Campylobacter infections can cause symptoms such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, fever, and sometimes bloody stools. These symptoms usually appear after consuming the meat of infected animals or contaminated water. Infections typically resolve on their own, but antibiotic treatment may be necessary in some cases, especially for individuals with weakened immune systems or severe symptoms. The best way to prevent Campylobacter infections is to adhere to food safety measures. Cooking animal products like poultry thoroughly, ensuring that the internal temperature reaches at least 75 degrees Celsius, helps kill pathogenic microorganisms like Campylobacter. Additionally, it is important to clean and sterilize surfaces and equipment that come into contact with raw poultry. Keeping other foods and surfaces separate from raw meat helps prevent cross-contamination. Furthermore, pasteurized milk and dairy products should be preferred, and contaminated water sources should be avoided. Don't forget to subscribe for brand new content.